We're getting to a realistic amount of inventory and a realistic length of sales time as part of the process moving forward. We'll talk about a housing crisis and a shortage of inventory, but in the news right now, we see articles about builders and developers having more inventory than ever right now, and people are just not buying the excess inventory off of them, or it's moving extraordinarily slowly. And just a little caveat before I hand it over to you, TK. The Toronto sales process for pre-construction has been abnormal against the world stage for a very long time. And to sell out an entire building of 400 or 500 units in a weekend or in a week or in a month is absolutely insane and unheard of anywhere else on the planet. So what's probably really happening is we're getting to a realistic amount of inventory and a realistic length of sales time as part of the process moving forward. But maybe I'm wrong.
I think there is some truth to what it is that you're saying, Darryl. I think that your point is very valid and succinct. But what I'd like to point out, though, is that a lot of the pre-construction pricing that has been absorbed by buyers over the last couple of years has been inflated due to rising costs of construction, as well as cheap debt, but also due to the rising cost of land and basically government interference through taxes, levies, development charges, HST, so on and so on. And so I believe that buyers now, looking at the performance of their pre-construction investments over the last couple of years, have decided, well, maybe this isn't the type of investment that's going to be best suited for me and my grandmother's line of credit. Now, when I was speaking to a client recently who bought a property in 2013, and this was the case back then, he reminded me, and I thought long and hard about it. And he said, we lined up at the developer's office, which was, in another part of the city, not at the location that the building was going to be built. And we were amongst the first 100 people who were in that line to get free parking and an opportunity to select the unit of our choice. And those type of methods were being used at a time when the pre-construction pricing and resale pricing of that day were much more in line with each other. And so as cost increased, the pre-construction market changed from developers launching their own projects without the aid of a cooperating brokerage and the buyer agency that we have today. And they were able to sell projects in the same fashion for similar profits, and seem to be quite satisfied. And so once the agents get involved, and there has to be a compensation for the representation of that buyer agent in order to be able to sell your product, that's when maybe these have been sort of a hard sell. And then it wasn't about it being a good investment or not, but it was just a well-oiled sales tactic that led a lot of people down a road that they most likely regret.
It's interesting that you say that, because that definitely has to be part of the puzzle. But I think what we have left over in inventory are units that are larger, that maybe people want, but they can't afford. So what happens in the process with development is the city mandates that you have a certain amount of larger units, and they need you to have a certain amount of 3-bedroom units, and they need you to have a certain amount of 2-bedroom units. And in order for the pro forma to work on paper, you need to sell these units at a certain price per square foot. And as the size of the unit increases, the cost, or the price per square foot, does not decrease. It stays at least the same, or at least you want it to from the sales perspective. And what happens is you end up with a bunch of inventory that you have to wait longer on to sell for the price you need to get in order for your project to not underperform for your investors. And so we get caught in this trap of, yes, we're building stuff. And yes, in the certain environment where everything is right and money is flowing and people have buyers willing to buy anything, the system can work. But I think what we're finding as part of this process is that people can't afford 2-3 bedrooms in downtown Toronto for $2.5 million in a basic normal building.
Hey guys, thanks for watching our clips channel. Why don't you go and check out some more clips? We got lots of other good content somewhere over here. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
Boom.
That was good.
That was good. I like that. That was good.